Hi! So for today, gagawin natin tong real-time or task tracker automated sheet using Excel VBA. Let's go! So as you can see dito sa form natin, pipili na lang yung user na kanyang user ID from the drop down. So for example, ito yung user ID ko. And then project name, halimbawa, project time tracker sheet. Task is testing phase, remarks, and aim lang. And then click start time. So there's a prompt na it is successful recorded and meron tayong task ID. So it will be recorded here sa in the table below. And then, for example, tapos na natin siya, highlight natin tong task ID na gusto na natin i-end. And just click the end time button. And ayun, makikita nyo yung end time. And the total time, so 0 siya. This is in hours. So 0 siya since 1 minute lang naman yung pagitan. So ito namang export. We will export all the time logs sa like consolidated sheet or database. So click natin to, piliin natin yung ating database sheet. And we will have a prompt saying that it's successfully recorded sa ating database, and just click OK. And all previous time logs dito sa table ay madidelete. So parang ito ay temporary records lang. So let's start in doing the form. So open na kayo ng Microsoft Excel. And then save it as Time Tracker VBA. So ito yung name ng aking Excel. So for this tutorial, mag-add na lang ako ng sheet. Papakita ko lang sa inyo from scratch paano ko itong ginawa, yung sheet na ito. So first, let's start with the title. So this is in row 2. Until tas merge natin to from row B to J. And hide natin yung other columns with S. Tapos, highlight natin yung from cell B4 up to J11. Cell B4, J11. Something light gray. And copy na natin to. So, sa row 13. So, here, importante na for the meantime, magkakaperas tayo like na kung saang row yung title, the user or form fields, etc. Then, i-freeze lang natin ito. And then, so ito ay parang dark blue. And yung font ko is lemon. And then from cell C5, copy lang natin ito. So, user ID, sa cell C5, minerge ko to. So, ibigay natin yung background. So, cell C5 is the user ID, tas minerge ko. So, C5D, project name, merge then, as well as the task and the remarks. And then EF. So, emerge din natin yan. Tapos copy natin. Then, ito, merge natin yan. Then, lagyan natin ng bottom border. And, lagay natin yung tatlong buttons. So, insert, shapes. Start and exit. And change lang natin yung color. Then, lagyan natin ng shadow. Then, let's align the three buttons. Control, select. Then, shape, format, align, button. Then, usot lang natin. Then, control, select ulit each buttons. Format, shape. Go to properties. Select don't move or size with cells. Then, don't forget to save your sheet. Now, for our drop-down list for the user ID field, so gawa kayo ng or insert ng new sheet, named it user space data. And so, user ID is the header, then nag-type lang ako ng random user ID. And then, control T to convert it sa table. So, for example, ayan. So, for example, ito. So, select and then control T for us to convert it to table. Then, check my table has headers. Click OK. And here sa under table design tab, rename nyo to. So, for example, here table 1. But here, yung original kong drop-down data is I named it user ID underscore TBL. So, delete ko lang to. And so, copy natin tong table name ginawa natin. Go back to the form. So, select yung cell E5. Go to data, then choose data validation. And select list. And for our drop-down list to be dynamic, like magre-reflect yung changes whenever we add new user ID. So we will use the indirect formula. So type indirect, open parenthesis, then the name of our table and close parenthesis and click OK. So testing natin if it's dynamic. So here, ang last user ID is 12352. 12352. So if mag-add tayo ng bago, 1, 2, 3, 5, ano pa bang wala dito? 21. 1, 2, 3, 5, 21. So, dapat nandito rin siya. Ayun. So, ganun ang paggawa ng drop-down, dynamic drop-down list. And then, tanggalin natin yung grid lines sa ating form. So, itong ginawa nating form, name it form. So, meron ako dito. Ayun nga. Sinave ko siya as form. And then, ayun, proceed na tayo sa ating VBA code. So, delete ko lang tong sheet 1. Yung aking, para hindi siya makagulo. So, in our time tracker sheet, meron na dapat tayong form and user data. So, don't forget to save your workbook. Now, going back, gagawin na natin yung VBA or susulat na natin yung VBA code. So, go to Developer tab and choose Visual Basic or yung shortcut Alt F11. So, sa inyong sheet, wala pa kayo makikitang module. So, insert, then choose module. So, ang first natin gagawin ay magde-declare tayo ng public variables. So, type muna natin yung option explicit. So, this means that, for example, meron tayong ibang worksheet na open. Kaya meron tayong option explicit is para mag-run lang yung itong mga code na isusulat natin dito sa specific worksheet or workbook na ito. So, type public sh form as worksheet, public row underscore as string, then public dt today as string, public e-range as range. Habang kinokopya nyo to, please take note na ito ay, ang ating mga code ay case sensitive. Next is yung ating sub-procedure. So, first kong ginawa dito ay yung, so dapat ito, declare variables. So, ang una kong sub-procedure is yung sub enter form dates. Ito yung pag-clinic ko yung start time, ano yung mangyayari. So, nag-declare muna ko ng variables, so user ID, pname for the project name, task, remarks, task ID, lrow, my array as variant. So, itong public variable natin, sheet form, is equals to our worksheets named form. So, if ever iba yung gusto nyong pangalan sa inyong form, dapat nyo tong, dapat ibahin nyo tong name dito. So, our user ID variable is equal to the value of range E5. So, that's sheet form dot range E5 dot value. And our pname variable is equal to the value of cell is E6. So, let's just go back to our form. So, ito yan, E5, which is the user ID. Project name is E6. Task is cell E7. Remarks is cell E9. So, yun. Ito yung mga yan. And then, next is find the next empty row. So, pag napanood nyo na, kung napanood nyo na yung mga nauna kong videos, lagi sa ating mga entry, pag may mga data entry projects tayo, i-enter natin yung data sa next empty row ng range na yun or sheet or table. So here, let's find the next empty row by using this code. So sa ating worksheets form, ito yun, sh form dot range column C and rows dot count dot end xlp dot row plus 1. Pag wala siyang plus 1, for example here, so nakalagay doon column C, ang last row ay magiging row 13. And since may plus 1 siya, magiging next empty row, which is row 14. And then, so, mag-create din tayo ng task ID automatically. So, yung task ID ko, gusto ko siya equals string, which is E00, enclosed in a double quotes, and the last row. So, here, ang next entry ko ay magiging is E00, 14. And so, get current date and time today. So, ang ating variable d today equals the now. So, this is the date and time today. And then, i-store natin sa isang array itong mga values na nakuha natin from our form. So, let's store it in a variable which we named myArray. So, equals, then use the array function. Open and close parentheses, and inside is the task ID. Ang una, user ID, pname, task, remarks, date, today. So, ang pagkakasunod-sunod nyo na ay naaayon dito sa ating mga column. So, ito yun. And next, pagkatapos natin siyang store sa myArray, i-transpose natin dun siya sa ating table. Ito yung table natin below. So, sheet form dot range C and last row. And ito, basically, ibig sabihin nito, para dynamic siya. Ano to? Range C40, H14. So, ginawa lang natin siyang dynamic. Kaya tayo gumamit ng last row. So, that value equals my array. So, pag hindi ito dynamic, it's range C14 to H14, that value equals my array. Pero, since nag-change yung last row natin, so, ginawa natin, kinonvert natin yung C as text. And, so, sa VBA, kapag mag-a-add tayo ng variable sa isang text, so, yung text is enclosed in a double quotes, then followed by the ampersand sign and the variable. So, C and L row is basically C14, and then ito yung colon, and again, text na letter H, and last row. So, bali ito yun, H14. So, pag pinagsama-sama mo to lahat, eto siya. And so, ayun, gusto natin may prompt or message box once these codes run successfully. So, message box natin ay task ID. So, again, that's text kasi naka-double quotes, and the variable, again, may ampersand sign. So, task ID E0014 recorded. And then, delete previous values in the form. So, E5, F10. So, ito yan. mga previous entries sa ating form fields. So, mabidelete siya using the dot clear contents. And then, so click save and go back to form. So, start time button. So, right click. So, from your form, right click yung button. Then, you should see assign macro and choose yung ating first sub-procedure, which is enter form dates. Click save and then so try natin. Choose your user ID, project name, task, and remarks. So start. So ayun, E001 for recorded. Click OK. So next natin yung end time. Alright, so para dun sa ating end time, so go back to your Visual Basic Editor. So, ang ating sub-procedure for that, so I named it end task. And as usual, meron naman tayong variable dito. So, A task ID as variant, S time as string, time underscore different or diff as string. So, again, call natin yung ating sheet form, worksheets form, and get task ID of active cell. So, as I mentioned earlier, you have to select the task ID you want to end. So, kaya meron tayo ditong active cell dot value and again, so declare natin yung variable dt today equals to the date and time, the current date and time. Etong set e range equals sheet form range cc. So, basically, pagka-click natin ito, i-store natin yung value nito to our variable a underscore task ID and then find the value of the active cell dito sa column C. And that code is eto na nga. So, sa range, store mo natin yung range column C, then that find task ID look at equals x of part. So, if it's empty, kapag wala tayong na-select na task ID, so may prompt na no task ID is selected. Else, kapag may value siya, so ito na nga, sinave natin yung column C and the control F function sa variable e range. So, if not, e range is nothing. So, ibig sabihin, in simple words, kapag hanap natin siya sa column C, so kunin natin yung row number nung task ID na yon and store natin sa variable row underscore. And then, iset natin yung value ng range or cell I. So, for example, here, nasa row 14 siya. So, go to I14 and set the value to the current date and time and display a prompt saying the task ID is 0014 completed. And i-declare natin or set natin yung value ng s-time variable sa h14.value which is the start time. Else, kapag iba yung na-select nating active cell, tapos napindot natin yung end time, or basically it's not a task ID or we're not able to find that value or the active cell that value, there's a prompt that would say no records found for the given task ID. Now, here, so sheet form basically, so here sa total time, basically it's end time minus the start time times 24. So, that's the total hours. Pwede nyo isulat lang na lang dito yung formula, then drag pababa. But, ang ginawa ko, so J and then N row. So, in our case, it's J14. That formula. So, using VBA, I'm setting the formula of this cell to yun nga, N time. So, here, I N row. Basically, it's I14 minus H14 times, dapat may times 24. And click save. So, i-try natin. Kunwari, ito yung na-select ko. Then, end time, no task ID selected. Debug. So, let's try to solve this one. So, dapat may times 24. 14. So, ayun. Sobra lang tayo ng double quotes. And, so, ayun. So, from 11 p.m. to 11:08, that's 0.12 hours. So, next naman natin yung export wherein it will save all the time logs here sa ating another or a different workbook that will serve as our consolidated sheet or database. Alright, so ito yung code natin for the export data. So, declare ulit tayo ng mga variables. str file as string, ws copy as worksheet, ws dest as worksheet, icopy last row as long, ides as last row as long. So, para meron tayong yung like the prompt to choose file. So, ito yung application.getOpenFileName. Pero, i-save mo natin siya sa variable str file. And then, ito workbooks.open and yung file path, which is the str file. And, ayun, set natin yung value ng ws copy and ws test. So, yung copy is basically yung time tracker natin, dot worksheets form, and yung wdest is yung time tracker database, dot worksheets database. So, let me just open the database sheet. So, this is how it looks like. So, yung header niya ay same with the, yung header niya is same sa header ng ating table, sa tracker sheet. So, delete ko lang to. Previous values. And save. And then, again, let's use the last row code to find the last row for our time tracker sheet or workbook and database workbook. So, ito and ito. So, here, instead na +1, we use the dot offset 1 dot row. So next is, so here as you can see, copy natin yung from cell C14 to J and last row, so dot copy, and then paste it sa ating database workbook starting from cell B and the available or next empty row. After that, close the workbook. So dot close and save changes equals true. Para bago natin siya i-close, na-save na siya automatically. And then, here, so clear the or delete the values here in our table after saving it sa ating database workbook. And also, we have a prompt to notify us the timesheet recorded to the database successfully. And then, again, so sa end time, right click, choose the sub-procedure and task, and sa export button, choose the sub-procedure export data. Now, kapag magdi-delete tayo ng task, so pinakita ko sa inyo na i-double click yung task ID. So here, for example, add tayo ng bago, 014. So, for example, namali ako ng user ID. So, i-delete ko siya, double click. Ayun na naman. Ayun. So, task ID, delete. So, that's gonna be, ang VBA code niya for that is, so, sa time tracker, go to this workbook. I mean, sa sheet 1 form. And, so, ito yan. First, create muna tayo ng another sub-procedure. So, here, so it's different mamaya na to. Here, so, double-click. So, whenever yung in-specify natin na range ay na-double-click, so, target that clear contents or, at na natin to. Na lang, target that entire row that delete, then call the set formula cancel equals true. So, tayo ulit natin. So, itong call set formula, ginawa ko to yung naglagay ulit tayo ng formula sa cell B14 using VBA. So, for us, for the serial number or count, para dynamic siya. Pwede ko naman siyang i-manual, kaso lang, for example, ito yung dinilit ko. So, since that's our VBA code is entire row delete, madidelete din siya. Madidelete din yung formula dito. So, that is why I set the code to call the set formula procedure as well whenever a new row has been deleted. Next is, so for our users, so as you will notice kanina, pag trinay ko mag-edit dito sa table, for example, edit ko, meron siyang warning. So, para hindi matamper yung mga data dito sa table, I add a VBA code here to protect that specific range. So, go to this workbook. So, kakall niya itong sub-procedure protect range cells whenever we open the workbook. So, dim range _1 as range. Then the range one is from range B14 to J1000. So, sinet ko lang siya as 1000, pero pwede rin yung last row. And then, cells.select, selection lock, range 1 select, selection.lock equals true. Then, active sheet protect. So, ito yung mga prohibited. User interface only equals true, meaning it can be edited using the VBA code. And active sheet that protect, the password is ABCD. So, you can change this password here. So, try natin kung mag-unprotect siya using ABCD. Naka-caps lock. Try one more time. Ayun. So, di na siya protected. So, i-call lang uli natin to. Para protected na siya. Yan. So, meron na ulit tayong warning. And, what else? So, you can do the same here sa ating database. Para whoever has access to the database sheet, they will not be able to tamper the data saved to that workbook. And I think, let me check if we're done. So, basically, yeah, that's it. And yeah, I hope may natutunan naman kayong bago. Please subscribe and like for more video tutorials. See you again next time. Bye 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 bye.